Welcome back to Explain the Charts, where we break down the market's most compelling movements and show you what to look for. Today, August 8th, 2025, our spotlight is firmly on QQQ, the Nasdaq 100 ETF, which has been front and center in recent financial news. The overall market sentiment currently indicates a slight uptick in stock futures, following a somewhat mixed session yesterday. However, the Nasdaq Composite, which QQQ tracks, is notably outperforming other major indices, having recently posted a new record high. This strong performance is underpinned by Nasdaq's very own robust second quarter 2025 financial results, reporting an impressive $1.3 billion in net revenue. This 12% organic increase clearly demonstrates Nasdaq's fundamental strength and its crucial role as a partner to global financial institutions, even across various market cycles. Further fueling investor optimism, Nasdaq President Tal Cohen recently announced groundbreaking plans to enable 24-hour trading on the Nasdaq stock market, a move expected to significantly enhance liquidity. Moreover, the prevailing optimism surrounding artificial intelligence, particularly its potential to foster a fairer, more efficient, and resilient financial system, continues to provide a tailwind for the tech-heavy Nasdaq index. This confluence of positive news paints a generally bullish backdrop for QQQ. Despite the overall positive tone, it's crucial to acknowledge the underlying market nuances and potential counterpoints. While Nasdaq itself is thriving, broader corporate earnings have presented a mixed bag, with reports of narrower losses, but also lower revenue from companies like Under Armour. Twilio shares, for instance, experienced a slide after their third-quarter outlook missed views, indicating sector-specific weaknesses. Algonquin Power and Utilities also reported a profit slide, suggesting that not all areas of the economy are experiencing the same level of growth. The mention of global uncertainty by Calfrac Well Services as a reason for workforce reduction highlights broader macroeconomic concerns that could still impact investor confidence. Additionally, the fact that gold prices have hit a record high could be interpreted as a classic flight to safety trade, suggesting some investors are hedging against potential equity market downturns. These elements introduce an element of caution, reminding us that even in a strong market, specific vulnerabilities exist. Therefore, QQQ's trajectory might encounter headwinds if these broader concerns gain more traction. Let's now transition to the daily chart for QQQ, examining the overall trend from March 2024 to the present. From a macro perspective, the chart clearly depicts a robust and sustained long-term uptrend. The price action has consistently formed higher highs and higher lows, which are textbook characteristics of a strong bullish market. Even when corrections have occurred, they have typically been shallow and short-lived, with buyers stepping in quickly to push prices back up. This resilience indicates significant underlying demand and investor conviction in the Nasdaq 100 components. The latest candle for August 7, 2025, shows QQQ trading at elevated levels, reflecting the Nasdaq Composite's reported record-setting day. This reinforces the idea that the broader market sentiment towards growth and technology stocks remains overwhelmingly positive. The daily chart, therefore, provides a strong foundation for a bullish long-term outlook. Now, let's zoom in on the daily chart specifically to pinpoint critical support levels, which are essential for understanding potential downside risks and entry points. Looking back at the data from April and September of 2024, the $440 to $450 price range served as a very strong support zone, repeatedly holding declines and initiating significant bounces. Moving forward, around late 2024 and early 2025, the $480 to $485 level emerged as another key area, where buying interest consistently absorbed selling pressure following pullbacks. More recently, during the early 2025 period, we observed firm support establishing itself around the $510 to $515 mark, preventing deeper corrections. For the immediate term, recent dips in July and early August suggest that the $550 to $555 zone is acting as significant short-term support. Maintaining price action above these established support levels is crucial for the continuation of QQQ's bullish trend and provides clear reference points for risk management. Conversely, let's analyze key resistance levels and significant reversals that have shaped QQQ's price action. Given QQQ's ascent to near record highs, overhead resistance from historical data is minimal, signifying a price discovery phase. The immediate challenge lies at the all-time high of approximately $573.32, which was touched on July 3, 2025, and also during intraday trading on August 7, 2025. A definitive breakout above this $573.32 level, especially on elevated volume, would signal strong momentum and could propel QQQ towards new psychological targets like $580 or even $590. Regarding reversals, the sharp 2.21% drop on July 11, 2024, from $503.07 to $491.93, stands out as a significant single-day decline. However, just as dramatically, the market saw a remarkable 12.14% surge on April 9, 2025, from $415.57 to $466, following a period of substantial selling pressure. These sharp moves underscore QQQ's volatility and the rapid shifts between supply and demand dynamics. The large red candles on July 31st and August 1st, 2025, saw QQQ fall from $574.54 to $553.88, indicating a recent instance of significant profit-taking after hitting new peaks. Now, let's scrutinize the shorter-term movements on the 1-hour chart, focusing on the period around mid to late July 2025. As of our latest hourly data point, July 28, 2025, QQQ showed relatively stable price action oscillating between $567 and $569. Earlier in July, we observed notable intraday volatility, particularly around July 22nd to 23rd, where QQQ experienced a dip from the mid-$560s before finding support near $558. This recovery from the $558 level indicates that, even on an hourly basis, buying interest emerged to prevent a deeper correction. Volume during these hourly fluctuations can be quite revealing. Spikes often accompany sharp price movements, suggesting active participation from both bulls and bears within the trading day. This short-term data confirms the daily chart's narrative of resilience, even during intraday pullbacks. Traders looking for very short-term entries or exits would scrutinize these hourly candles for immediate signs of strength or weakness. To get the most granular view of recent price action, let's examine the 15-minute chart, specifically the latter half of August 7, 2025. After experiencing some intraday selling pressure earlier in the day, QQQ demonstrated a slight but steady upward drift in the final hours of trading, moving from approximately $569.49 to $570.20. This late-day strength suggests that buyers were stepping in as the market neared its close, potentially anticipating continued momentum. The volume during this 15-minute period was moderate, not indicating overwhelming accumulation or distribution, but rather a quiet consolidation. This short-term stability at a higher level, after a daily candle that closed lower than its open, shows a battle between buyers and sellers where buyers gained some ground into the close. For ultra-short-term traders, watching these tight ranges for a break either above $570.50 or below $569 on significant volume will provide immediate directional cues for August 8, 2025 trading. So, when considering QQQ, are we leaning bullish or bearish for the short and long term? For the long term, the bullish case appears robust, fundamentally driven by Nasdaq's strong financial performance, its strategic innovations like 24-hour trading, and the pervasive optimism surrounding AI and the broader tech sector. The consistent pattern of higher highs and higher lows on the daily chart further reinforces this optimistic long-term view, suggesting that dips remain buying opportunities. In the short term, however, the picture is more balanced. While positive news abounds, the quick pullback seen even after reaching new highs, as well as the global uncertainty mentioned in news, indicate that profit-taking pressures are present and some caution exists among investors. A sustained move above $573.32 would strongly confirm continued short-term bullish momentum. Conversely, a break below recent immediate supports could signal a deeper, albeit likely temporary, correction. Therefore, short-term traders should remain agile and responsive to intraday price action and immediate news catalysts. To summarize, let's recap the important price levels and what conditions would reinforce their likelihood. On the upside, the key resistance is the all-time high around $573.32. A decisive breakout above $573.32, supported by strong buying volume, would strongly reinforce the likelihood of QQQ pushing towards $580 and potentially $590 in the short to midterm. This scenario is reinforced if major tech companies continue to report strong earnings and positive forward guidance. On the downside, initial short-term support is identified around the $550 to $555 range. A breach of this level, particularly if accompanied by increased selling volume, would signal a higher likelihood of a pullback towards the next significant support at $510 to $515. A more substantial decline, potentially triggered by escalating global uncertainty or unexpected hawkish monetary policy shifts, could test the crucial long-term support zone around $480. Always look for confirmation from volume and candlestick patterns at these key levels when deciding your trade entry and exit points. Keep an eye on any further news regarding Nasdaq's 24-hour trading rollout and upcoming economic reports, as these could act as significant catalysts for QQQ's next move. Ultimately, a strong risk management strategy, combined with vigilant observation of these price levels and catalysts, will be key for navigating QQQ in the coming weeks and months.